Hello, this is Taha.
This is Anaina,
This is Movie Masala.
and we're here to yap at you about films we watched recently.
And today we're doing Honey Don't.
Honey Slay!
It's your way of shutting me out. I could help you with that, Help you open yourself up to people. Why not open yourself up? See what happens. You got nothing to lose but your fears.
Thanks. I'll stick with my dildo. Helps me open myself, and it doesn't have a creep attached.
I was deciding what movie to watch, and I was like, oh, okay. So Honey Don't is the sequel, but not also a sequel to Ethan Coen's previous lesbian crime mystery film, which is Drive Away Dolls. And I was like, okay, I'll see it because lesbians and because it's another attempt at this niche little genre that Ethan Coen himself is cultivating.
I don't understand why he's taken it up and why he needs to make more, but okay, I'm intrigued to find more out.
Yeah, so with that, Ethan Coen is back writing and directing this film, right? He writes it with Tricia Cook, who is also written like Drive Away Dolls as well. So basically, same team comes back, right? Who is gay. So, that is where the lesbian direction of the film comes from, I guess.
Yay!
Yay. And Margaret Qualley returns for a new role. And honestly, you know what? One thing that I definitely want when he makes a third one, I think he's talked about making a third one, is Margaret Qualley coming back again, but also doing a very different role again.
I mean, I feel like a lot of the allure to these films is Margaret Qualley, just because of how enticing I feel she is.
Oh yeah, like I feel this film's marketing was just showing clips of Aubrey Plaza and Margaret Qualley like making eyes at each other or just like kissing or something like that. It exactly knew how to target its audience.
It got it. It got the audience. It got me. I was there. I was sat.
And alongside them is Chris Evans, who plays this sleazy pastor from this church. And again, this might feel like such a weird take or like opinion, but I think you'll get it. Which is, I feel Chris Evans is such a good villain for a Sapphic film.
He is the anti-lesbian. Yes.
I mean that in a sense of Chris Evans, the person, would be an ally. I think is all I would say is an ally. But the thing is, he is able to play machismo, but also ham up machismo like in a way that never feels like he's into he understands this is toxic and exactly is able to do this well.
For sure. And he's also kind of sold to women as a heteronormative platonic ideal. And lesbians are the opposite of anything heteronormative and platonic romantic ideals.
Yeah, exactly. So I think he's also so fun in this. When I think of Chris Evans' career trajectory, I can't help but compare it a bit to Robert Downey Jr., even though they come from very different places. And just because they were two central pillars of the MCU doesn't mean like they were the same. But just the fact that I think Chris Evans feels like he has so much more fun sometimes in his little niche roles, and he chews scenery so well. Again, he played this paragon of virtue in the MCU, but when he plays a villain, he's able to do it with so much fun. He has so much fun doing it.
I'm just reminded of Knives Out and how much I fucking loved watching him be an absolute asshole in Knives Out.
Exactly. And lastly, the third person I would want to shout out is Lyra Abova, who plays this French assassin type character called Cher. So my basic thing with this, before I get into more spoilers, is it's honestly, I liked it better than Drive Away Dolls. And it's a solid, but the best articulation would be it's kind of a hot mess of a pulp mystery lesbian thriller. But for what it is, it doesn't cease to be fun. It has a lot of good, funny moments, but it's messy. The pacing here and there, the story that I feel personally doesn't tie up the best, but it is unequivocally queer in its making.
Yeah.
My only little gripe with the queer part, as I mentioned, is that I feel some scenes, especially at the start, when showing Margaret Qualley, feel a bit too male gazy for me, which I feel doesn't set up the film right, specifically because it doesn't stay in that lane. It does become a bit different after it goes on. But I still feel there is some level of male gaziness that it struggles to detach itself from fully.
That's really fair. I mean, you can argue and try to kind of rationalize or kind of analyze that, but I think it can also just be put down to the fact that it is directed and conceptualized by, at least in part, a guy.
Yeah. And again, yeah, so people at home, sometimes they use film terms. The male gaze is something Laura Mulvey coined, which is to talk about how men depict women in a very specific way in movies. It's mostly talked about like how they sexualize it, but there are other aspects to it too. So that's what I'm talking about. And the reason that it's specifically important here is because this is a very lesbian film, and typically you would want it to detach itself from that. But that being aside, I think Margaret Qualley is very fun in this. She plays this detective called Honey O'Donoghue, who's like a small time private investigator. It feels very small town. And even though the film is set in like modern America, there is like a whole scene, like a person being afraid of like COVID again and stuff like that. Played by Billy Eichner. Billy Eichner, again, should be in these types of movies again for small roles. I think 100%. But it, despite it being set in modern America, it never feels very modern. And I don't mean in a bad way. I mean, it really does emulate that pulp mystery small town environment really, really well. And then again, acting alongside Margaret Qualley in a lot of it is Aubrey Plaza, who, again, spoiler alert, does have like a villainous change, which again, just I wasn't sold on. It feels so sudden and just jarring and there for the sake just of like a twist that it just doesn't feel like it built on enough in some senses. It's not like it's unjustified. Like when she tells her like kind of backstory, it like, okay, that makes sense. I get it. But also it just feels like it just came out of nowhere.
Sure, I mean, I see that. Everyone likes a good twist, but you at least want the twist to have some meat on it. You don't want it to like suddenly just like snapping your neck. You want to be surprised. You want to also kind of have something to be like, oh, I can see the build up now in retrospect or something.
Yeah, exactly. So I don't think that comes through. And also, like when I talk about the messiness, it's like you feel there's such a connection between Chris Evans' character and Margaret Qualley, as in like they will have this showdown, but they have one conversation and they never meet again. And that conversation also just doesn't further the plot in that big of a sense really either. So it just doesn't feel that empty. And like Chris Evans dies off screen by Cher, which is kind of funny in the way she does it. But again, it just feels like this story is told in an unconventional way, sure, and sometimes that can be fine. But this just made me felt like I feel unsatisfied. I feel like you teased it in a way and then you never built it up in that way. You gave me a very false understanding of where this film was going.
I see. I get that. Yeah.
Yeah. So while again, Drive Away Dolls, I think was a bit more straightforward than this, even though again, messy and jarring as well. This, while I think tonally more cohesive, right? And I think in general, fun. I think fun, the dark humor works really well for this film. Honey is so quick. Like there's one guy, Morty, played by Charlie Day, who is constantly trying to get a date with Honey. And Honey keeps telling him, tells him, I like girls. And he laughs. I was like, haha, you keep saying that. I was like, what do you mean?
Oh, how I wouldn't know.
And he plays it genuinely like he doesn't understand what that means. Because he then asks for her phone number and she goes like, I don't have a phone. I carry a bag of quarters on me all the time for payphones. And she's just so quick with every single response she does. But it's never like, she's also having fun with teasing and stuff like that, you know, in a sense of like, she's just very funny inherently. And Margaret Qualley does that really, really well. So again, I think I had a good time watching this. Overall, it's also very quick. It's like a very brisk 90 minutes. So it goes over super quickly.
Okay.
But again, is it really cohesive? No, it's a hot mess, but it's fun. I can't say it wasn't fun specifically because The acting was very fun. The dialogue was really on point, and some of the humor really, really landed for me. So in general, I would recommend this film, specifically if this fits into your little genre box and if you want to see what Ethan Coen does next as well, so to get a good understanding.
Fair.
Yeah. So those were our thoughts. Thank you for tuning in. This podcast is produced solely by us with musical assets from Pixabay. If you enjoyed this, please do share it. See you again next time.
Bye-bye.